back, everyone, to What the Podcast. It's What the Podcast.
Awesome.
I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And together we are
Ryan and John.
on the couch, as always, producer Cara Tafolla. Say hey, Cara.
Hey, hi, Cara.
And on the starboard side, we've got a guest, another special guest with us this
Wouldn't
week.
you know it?
Annie, quote, the Skov, unquote, Skovmand.
Hi, happy to be here for the first time.
Hey, thanks for
say hi, Annie.
taking some time out of your day to join us.
Say hi, Annie.
She already did.
Whipping up
Sure
a good old batch of opinions this week. And
Facts.
oh boy, are they coming in hot. They're coming in spicy.
Opinions.
You said
I
you
have
said
an
facts
opinion.
weird. Ooh.
What's
I
that?
have an opinion.
Oh, okay.
Let it rip.
If it's a holiday, make sure you tip your workers.
Oh, straight up.
Wait, what? Is that why?
So today we're filming at the bare end of President's
a 3-day
Day.
weekend.
Yes.
For some
And-
people.
Oh, okay. All right. Just keep rolling.
Okay. So we've got some
We got some children.
people harassing
That's
our,
another.
our
We'll
studio.
get into it
We'll
later.
get into it.
My
Oh.
nephews are staying here because my brother had a baby. But
Wow.
we'll get into it later.
Opinion.
Opinion.
Hey.
Anyways, go ahead.
So tip your workers.
No, I won't.
President's
Yes.
Go
Day.
ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What were we gonna say? No, go ahead.
No. Hey, just like figure out your lodging. If you're going to have that third baby, just where are those two other babies going to be,
Yeah.
With the
Figure it
They're
out.
here.
Yeah.
And they're playing the drums.
And
outside.
if you're recording a podcast there, like figure that out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'll actually just go and scold them real quick.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
run back and
yeah, for sure.
Get some
That's
background,
probably
Yeah.
good.
background music.
I am going to scold them actually. If
Oh,
they
you're
don't cut
you're
it out
going
here
for it.
pretty soon.
You're
Well,
going for
we'll
it.
give them one more minute, and then if it doesn't happen, they're done.
I mean, they're
disappeared.
cute.
He gone.
They're cute, but
Oh, I hear him.
I heard a what?
No, see, the problem is as soon as they know that noise,
it's the fourth wall.
they're going to come back.
It's
you
the
know,
fourth wall.
Sorry, go
it's
ahead.
shattering.
Shattering before our eyes. I
Okay, so
apologize.
Cara, you worked all day today. It was President's Day, and
Saturday.
And Saturday. You worked the whole weekend.
Pretty much.
Not great tips from the
No.
holiday coffee goers.
Not great.
Dang.
I mean, can you explain to us what a normal shift looks like versus what you got this weekend and how that differs?
Oh, okay.
Good question. Good question.
Because
So-
I don't know.
so
I don't know what it's supposed to look
Saturdays-
like.
Uh-huh.
Are always pretty crazy. Always big lines, whatever.
Sure.
Normally, within the hour, there's some kind of lull where we've gotten through the line. We have at least 10 minutes to kind of reset, and then the line starts to form again.
Sure.
That was not the thing this Saturday because it was PLNU's family weekend.
Sure.
There was
Yes.
events at the church nearby. There was a run. All these things
the
around
bank.
and President's Day weekend, so it's all the tourists are here and
Sure.
yeah.
Over under how many how many
well-
drinks you think you make on any given shift?
Oh.
Good question.
What was I on
I have
Saturday?
a different question, but I'll wait for you to answer that one.
Well, normally on a weekday,
Sure.
if I'm on espresso, I'll probably make in an hour 45 drinks.
Dang. You're
But on
slinging them.
on a Saturday, it's like a drink every 30
Can I
seconds. So
can I
it's probably
ask
double
for
that.
some
Dang.
more information about can you give me a range of? I don't want you to have to obviously if you don't want to share it, you don't have to share it, but of dollar amount because I want to know how much of a
Good tip
deficit
day
it was.
versus a
You know
bad
what I'm
tip
saying?
day.
What was the deficit? Or maybe you just tell us the rate,
Well,
how much
normally-
less you normally would get this was compared to this weekend, whatever.
Well, normally how I keep track of it is whenever I'm on register, it always
Sure.
shows you how much people tip.
Sure.
I think maybe on Saturday, 50% of people didn't tip at all.
Dang.
Didn't tip at all.
Dang.
Oh, that's gotta hurt too.
Yeah.
I guess if you're seeing it, right? I mean, that's rough.
And mostly because it was college kids coming in.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, right. Well, I guess that's my question too. Is my wife did the whole barista.
Yep.
When she was in college, and she always tips people really well because she knows what it's
Yeah.
like. Are you one of those people when you go to get coffee somewhere else? Are you a big tipper, or are you
No.
like, oh?
Well, it depends on the price of the coffee. If I'm getting a really bougie
Well,
coffee,
it doesn't depend on
I'll
the price
tip,
for the
I'll
barista,
tip
but-
lower. If I'm just getting like a regular latte, no flavor, regular milk, it's like $5, then I'll tip
Round it up.
the higher one.
Do you get intimidated by that little iPad spinning around?
I don't know.
No.
I'll tell you what. And sometimes when kind of like you, I'm like you in the sense that if it's expensive coffee, I'm like I really don't want to tip. I'll do the whole other and do the 0, 0, 0.
Dang.
And that's hard to do because you gotta sit there and click every zero.
Annie, you gave a strong no. You what's your tipping situation like?
You gave a strong no.
Do you tip often? Do you tip sometimes never?
Because I have this theory about tipping, but I'll let you. I want to hear what you have to say first.
Okay, if they had to work, well, first of all, most of the time, if they're offering tips, a lot of the times it's because they're actually getting paid under minimum wage.
Sure.
And then the option
Right.
of tips is what brings them to minimum wage. And then only if they don't make enough in tips to make minimum wage does the company compensate for that.
Right.
Which, do I think that's a great system? No, I think that's kind of a dumb system. What's the point
Totally.
of that? Like, why aren't you just paying the minimum wage? Like,
And we've talked about that on this show up and down. But what I want to know is when that little iPad flips around, how do you feel in that moment?
Oh, he's calling you out.
I hit 20.
You
always.
do. You max it
20%.
out. Something happens to me where they'll flip it around and sometimes they'll walk away.
I like the walk away.
I'll hit them with the 0 right away. If they walk away. If
I
they
like
stand
the walk
there,
away.
I get intimidated. I'm like,
So you get
oh
pressured,
shit. I
is what you're
fully
saying.
get the pressure. Yes. Yes. Especially too, like if we're going out to eat somewhere and they bring the little card reader to the table
Yeah.
and they're standing there, then I got to tip good.
I always double check though, because sometimes they're tricky and they'll have their lowest be 20.
Yes.
And they'll
Yeah.
do 20, 25,
Yeah.
30. And I'm like,
Yeah, I wonder if they can
forget
control that because I've been places
Yeah, you
where it's
can.
like
You can
20,
put
and
the
I'm like, This is a
percentage.
little greedy, right? It's coming off a little hard.
At Moniker, the tipping is if you get a drink only, you can tip $1, $2, or $3. If you get food, it's percentage.
Yeah, they did
that's
a
why
whole
the
thing with
dollar
Starbucks.
thing is more motivating for me to tip because when I see 1, 2, 3 or whatever,
sure, I'll
Yeah.
throw a
I
I
dollar
go,
on
oh,
there.
yeah,
Easy, $2.
right?
When it says
But the
18%,
percentage,
I'm
when you
like-
see like 5.65,
But
I'm like, ooh.
Even if it's less than
For
a dollar.
us, it's making food is so much, and if you get a
Yeah.
$200, I got a $175 food order
That's
on
crazy.
Saturday.
Big group.
And
Bunch of sandwiches
I
to
think
go.
That's like 10.
Like a 15% tip is great on that. Like,
Yeah, I will say
Yeah.
that they might
Not
make more
$3.
money if they take off. They it says 15%, and then in parentheses it tells you how much it is. If I didn't know that amount, I
Yeah.
think I might just hit 15 and not just
Yeah.
live in bliss. But I do
Well,
think
it's
that
like
kind
tax.
of triggers me.
I feel
Like tax, you scan stuff, you're like, yeah, that's fine. And then you get to the end and you see how much it was in tax, and you're like, yeah, it's
that's one
still
thing
Right.
we don't
fine.
do.
You're like, I might as well just do it. Like, I'm this
I'm
far
here.
in.
I guess I'm swiping.
I'm right there with you.
Our tax is included in all of our prices, so you know what you're
that's smart.
paying.
We went out to like on the menu it says like this is a flat
Yep.
price. That's good. We went and had, and I'm going to name them because I'm going to drag them for this. We went to Slater 50/50 in Liberty Station.
Oh, a long time ago.
Oh.
Yes, we went to sit down, big meal, me and like probably 10 members of my family, right? My family, my cousins, everybody was there, right? Automatic tip included.
Yeah.
And then my aunt went in and didn't know that
Yeah.
and double tipped.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
no.
It's so freaking lame, like a 40% tip.
A lot of times they'll have it where like restaurants will have like if you have a party of 10 or more, like 18% gratuity is automatically included.
I'm like,
See,
that's
that
fine.
kinda
Tell me
sucks.
straight up that happened.
But it's like at the very bottom. So they give
Yeah,
you
I
your
hate that.
check and not say anything.
I think that's totally sketchy. And
Yeah.
like, I get that if there was a big group, let's say, and then they, this always happens at restaurants where there's a big group and nobody like stuff doesn't get paid for because everybody split the bill 10 different ways. And it's like, I get that. Yeah. Charge them an extra thing. But like, it's just our family. The place isn't packed. Like, it's just our family
Yeah.
here eating.
Yeah.
Really? You're going to hit us with a 40% tip? Come on.
yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
Now, but here's my thing.
Let's hear it.
Have you ever met someone who never tips? Like restaurants, anything,
Me.
never.
Just literally
I
me.
don't think so.
You never tip, John?
Very rarely. I tip around you because my wife makes me tip. But
Dang,
when
that's crazy.
Like by myself, I very rarely tip.
Even out at a restaurant, you don't tip? That's
Honestly.
not true.
But
Yep.
when do you go to a restaurant by yourself?
No, but I'm saying
You and
like,
I
if
have
it-
been out before, and you've paid for the meal, and you have tipped.
That's
Because
because
of
you
Ryan.
selected the tip. You selected it last time, and I was cool with it.
No
'cause
way.
whatever.
What are you talking about?
Yes. Remember, I gave you my card. First of all, we had a few. So we were in bliss, but
I don't know what you're
Are you
talking
talking about a restaurant with a swivel iPad?
There was
we went to Lazy Dog and we saw that movie.
me and John had a fun little date night. We went to
Cute. We
even
Lazy
split a
Dogs
dessert,
together.
by the way.
I don't.
So
Wait, that is adorable.
I
Romantic.
certainly did not select the tip if you paid.
You had the thing, and you remember you were, and I said just tip and whatever, and you selected it. I don't care.
Wow.
That's out
I
of
was
the goodness
cool
of your
with
heart,
But
right
here's
there,
my
John.
thing.
You're a tipper.
That I'm gonna move
We're gonna
past
deal
that.
with that.
Wow, that's an off the podcast conversation. Your
Clearly.
intervention for your
Clearly.
tipping.
it. Am I in trouble for that?
Yeah,
Or-
that is horrendous.
Okay, all right. That is horrendous.
I worked with a
horrendous.
girl. We're gonna pretend like you didn't say this while I talk about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I worked with a
Uh-oh.
girl who we would regularly go next door to. We worked at a bridal shop. We'd go next door to the restaurant.
Okay.
Like almost daily for lunch. To find out. Like one day we went all for like a girls' night after dinner. We all went out, all split a bottle of wine, all this stuff. To find out she's never tipped.
Yeah.
Like ever in her life.
Totally.
She didn't realize she had to tip. And I was like,
it's normal.
No, okay.
I said you've never
That's a
you've
cop
never
out.
tipped any.
That is certainly a cop
No,
out.
if you knew her, she was
Is
the
she-
kind
She was
who was
clueless?
like, yeah,
Is she
clueless.
foreign?
No,
It's a
she's
very
just
foreign thing to do.
And she was
Yeah.
like, no, I've never done it. But she has worked in situations in which she has received them. She just has never thought to give them.
I
That's
think
kind of my thought
honestly,
process too, but-
honestly, if you're asking my honest opinion, I wouldn't tip if I wasn't intimidated by the social construct because I think
Right.
it's so stupid. Like for me as a consumer to like assume that this person's not making enough money. If you're not making
Well,
enough
that's-
money as
yeah.
a waiter, go get a different job.
Well,
right? Like
here's my
like why
Uh-oh.
no I'm not saying anyone should like do that. I'm saying
Yeah.
like why would anyone put themselves in a situation where they're not making enough money?
'Cause it's
Well,
an
that's-
And like
easy to get
well
a job.
it's the goodness
No,
of
that's-
somebody's heart. That's like
That's
you're
the same
basically
thing your wife's talking about, though.
Well, so there's an idea of working for your wages in the sense of
Yeah.
like if you're putting in more effort, you can get a bigger paycheck as a waiter. If you're, more personable, if you're
I think
taking more
it's-
tables, if you're doing it, you can be tipped extra for the work you're already doing.
But that's
where,
not the
like,
case in most
But it's in the same
scenarios.
way of commission, where if you're working somewhere, if you're selling cars,
Sure.
and you're super personable, you're making it really easy, you're really helping these people out, you're going to get commission on that sale. You're not just getting hourly, so it's that same way of like, well, why wouldn't you just go work somewhere else? I mean, tips in a year for like a day, like a daily restaurant worker, a waiter,
Yeah.
is probably comparable to some degree
Yeah.
to, someone who works
Sure.
4 days a week at a car salesman.
Yeah, they make a lot.
over the year. Yeah.
Sometimes- bars, too. Bars are like the same way.
sometimes I think I want to look back and I think what I get in tips has been more than my
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And also tips aren't
What-
taxable.
I
What
think
you're
it's just
saying is-
crazy. Like what other thing in society do we like socially assume? Like, oh well, yeah, they don't
Washing your hands.
like for other people. You know what I mean? Like I'm like
Got to.
So
okay,
off the cuff.
okay,
So
okay.
off the cuff. I
Wash
love
your
it.
hands. Thank you. Thank
your
you.
hands.
It's like this thing that if I'm so good at being a waiter, wouldn't my boss should just pay me more? Like, oh, he's a better waiter. I pay
That's
him
why
more.
I don't tip.
That's why you don't.
Because that's
One
what's-
bite at a time.
that's what is allowing the system to continue that way.
Right.
We're tipping, and I get that I'm just one small drop in a bucket here, and I but I'm just saying
It
in
is
this
the
system,
problem is the scabs of our revolution, our no tipping revolution. The
Yeah.
scabs being the people
I have
that
to
tip.
take on the guilt of it.
Absolutely,
and I'm
Yeah.
bearing that weight.
I just want to put a sign on my chest and be like, I get paid minimum wage.
Sure,
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm
For
saying.
sweating my
is-
booty off, making
Well,
a
but
drink.
that's what your husband's talking
That's
about.
what I'm
though.
getting at. Is
If
like
you
baristas, not like people are like, oh, like job at Starbucks for some reason, and like fast food places in general. When people talk about like, oh, like if you don't go to college, you'll end up working at McDonald's, right? This is like a sentiment sometimes people
sure.
hear. Makes no sense to me because people go to McDonald's and people go to Starbucks every damn day. It's
McDonald's
like
is
the
higher
front
than
lines of
McDonald's is higher than minimum wage.
like
Yeah.
that's a job that you're always gonna have work. Like, why would you not get paid well for that? I don't know. You're like schlepping all day long. It's not like
I don't know. I'm just, but that's exactly what I
I
agree with you.
digress. On
I agree
it.
with you
Obviously,
on
I'm not
that,
going to stop tipping. Like I tip, waiters, and
But only because you're pressured.
some people have already stopped tipping.
that's a big part of it. And John is full of crap because I know for a fact he tips.
No, I think he's right. I think he's right. I think Jordan has made him a better person.
I think
and he tips out of the social construct that he'll get in that car and he'll get his
It
ass
depends
chewed
on who
out.
I'm with.
I think
really.
you reluctantly tip, certainly.
If it were up to me full time, no way.
What's the most you've tipped?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I've never done an astronomical tip before.
I mean,
20%.
Jordan and I have sometimes
Literally the most I've ever tipped.
20%.
Jordan and I have done like $100 one time because we it's one of those scenarios where you're talking to the waitress and she's like, oh, I'm in school, and I always used to do that too. Like when when my sister was in Sacramento, I'd go up there and visit her. And I'd take them out to dinner, and at the time I was living at home. I was I was working full time, so I'd buy everyone's dinner or whatever. And sometimes you get in a conversation with the waitress, and you find out they're in school because it's a college town in Sacramento. And you're like, and I was like, I got an extra $100 I can throw them that way. But I mean that's probably the most.
You're literally the full spectrum of tipping.
Yeah.
That
Either
is
a lot
crazy.
or nothing else.
Nothing at all. Wow,
insane.
he's
No, but I'm saying
One
in
person
general,
gets $100 a year, and then you don't tip the rest of the
they
year.
rest
What
the
I'm
freaking
saying,
year.
though,
That's
is-
hilarious.
I like I said, I understand that it's the way that that the restaurant businesses work. But
Sure.
I do think it's dumb. I think people, if we all stop tipping, which has never happened, I know, if we all stop tipping tomorrow, then restaurants would have to start paying these workers what they're worth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I disagree with, like what Annie was saying. I disagree with the fact that you don't get paid as much and that you're somehow supplementing your service.
Yes.
But then I do see the benefit of, there is some benefit to some degree where you have like in the bad waiter way, right? You don't want if someone's really bad at their job, it's going to be so obvious, right? Because they don't get any tips and whatever.
I've definitely not tipped for bad service.
Same.
Oh,
I've
100%.
definitely
I feel
just been like,
I feel I more often don't tip
I
for
feel
bad
like
service.
we've still tipped, but very poorly.
Yeah.
We'll still tip something.
But and see, even that is like just such a lame thing. Like, I don't know. Like, you shouldn't be able to get to do that. Like,
But
my service wasn't good. I'm not going to pay you for the freaking burger
but
that
then
you
it's
just
like,
brought out to me.
hey, your person sucked. They're not
Yeah.
making enough tips. You supplement them. Like, you're paying for this bad person.
Totally.
Do you ever do the depends on the service? Like, I'm trying to think of an example, and of course I can't
survey?
think of one. Well, no, just like the way that some places you go and all they're doing is like putting something in, like it's mostly at amusement parks, where it's
Like
like
a-
all preheated, and then all they're doing is like grabbing it out of the preheated cabinet and like giving it to you.
Yeah.
Do you ever do
Yeah.
I'm not tipping you for this. Like all you've done
Yeah.
is literally done
Anywhere
nothing,
that you
know?
go up to the counter and get the food, I don't tip.
Yeah.
Right,
I
because
won't
like,
tip.
what's the point?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the same school.
But
of
like,
thought, right?
should I tip you because you walked around the counter and brought it to my table? Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
But
I don't
it's
know.
also,
I don't know.
I wonder, certain places like that, do they share their tips? Are the people who are making your food
Yeah,
also
that's gonna
sharing
suck.
those tips?
Yeah.
Sharing tips
But
sounds
Certainly.
terrible.
when
to
you're
me.
at a place where it's that the tips are specifically going to your waiter or waitress and they're awful,
Sure.
Yeah.
it's going to them, and hopefully they're doing better at other tables.
I don't
They'll
know.
get tipped
I
better.
wonder what kind of places are like that. Like that, I know specifically.
individually,
I'm
I don't
like,
think
yeah,
PF
I don't know
Chang's.
any. What?
Oh,
How random
this
is
was
that?
rough. No, we had a bad experience
Bad
at PF
experience.
Chang's. Our waitress was like coughing all over the place, and like she for sure had like COVID. Because
She
then
definitely
halfway
did.
through our meal, she like slapped a mask on. We were like,
Yeah.
okay, that's great. And this isn't a reason to not tip somebody, but like she was like too talkative.
Yeah.
And
Been there.
She
like,
stayed at our table, I think,
Yes.
for every time she'd check on us, she'd have a conversation for like 6 minutes.
and some
we were
people,
like,
Wait, you don't
some
want your
people
service to be too
vibe out
talkative?
on that. No, I'm like, some people
Hey,
love
quiet
that.
down and just
I'm
bring
like,
me my food, please. No,
you-
I'm
yeah, I'm
she
the
took
asshole.
her-
It's fine. I'm okay with that.
That conversation is when you're taking the order. Like, how are you doing? Like, that's your first
You know
conversation.
the
not
people that like
every
kneel down on your table and are
single
like,
one.
Hey,
So what do we
hey
have?
guys, what are we having today?
Oh, that's good.
That was her.
That was her.
That was her. She was like, "Oh, that's
We
really
also
good on the menu.
we
That's
also
really good." We're like, oh.
paid for it with a gift card, so like we didn't. We just like left the gift card and ran away. We were like, we can't tip this lady. She was terrible. She was
okay.
terrible.
Was the gift card enough, or you just kind of dining?
It was
it
enough for
was-
our food, but
There was
the
enough
tip
for
was-
a tip, but I still don't get.
was
I don't
pretty
know if you
small.
can tip on a gift. I don't.
I don't know
You
if you
can.
can either.
You definitely
Can you?
The jury's
You do a
out.
tip
Well, then
before
she
you go
got
to
something.
checkout.
She
She
probably
got
got like
something.
$10 or something.
I
It
don't
was
know.
also really bad food. So.
But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's interesting, that you had this experience this last week where people weren't tipping very well.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then we also talking about, is tipping, one of those things that you should do all the time or what have you.
Well, for me, it's like if you're a college student and you're broke, don't go to a bougie coffee shop every single day.
Wait, why can't I though?
What do you mean?
Because you're not tipping.
You're broke.
Oh,
But
Because you're broke.
So I can't go anywhere with the expectation
being able
of
to
a
pay
tip,
for it.
is what you're saying.
No, I think the tip should, like,
Well, that's what we're talking
they
about.
should pay you more and raise all their prices. I think that should just be across the board, right?
They raise
Like,
all the prices,
raise all
but
the
they don't
prices.
pay us more.
Well, that's
Yeah,
then your
that's
problem
pretty
is
effed.
with the coffee shop.
That's pretty effed.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
You know what I'm saying?
the inflation at work, and I'll tell you what.
Listen.
It's at work out here.
I've had my fair share this week of upsets with restaurants.
Oh, let's
Whoa.
hear it, Annie.
Gosh.
Specifically, don't
yeah.
don't
Gosh,
downplay my
I
emotions.
knew it. I knew it. I knew she was coming.
I'm
in with
willing
that.
to hear the whole.
downplay. My emotions are valid because I'm feeling them. Okay, thank
That's-
you.
And you know
Okay.
what? And snaps
Hey,
for
snaps
that.
for that.
right. Hey, I can't.
We
I-
validate emotions around here.
Down with the double arches. Let's just say that. I'm just kidding. We're going there today.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, we're
You're
doing it
out of your
tonight. I'm
mind.
sorry, that was a lie.
We're talking about the Mickey D's.
The McDonald's. John,
Go ahead.
don't even act like you don't know my
Let's hear-
McFlurry order.
let's hear
Because
the
I've turned you
whole
on to
story.
this.
Yeah. Well,
What's your
actually, I should
McFlurry
give
order?
credit to Jim, your dad. 'Cause
My
he's
dad,
the one that
my
created
dad.
it.
He
Okay.
created it.
Okay.
Which Ryan liked to point out. Anyway,
Go ahead.
here's
Tell
what
the
it
whole
is.
story.
I order an Oreo McFlurry with hot fudge.
Okay.
Yep.
The
Yes.
McFlurries do not
By the
come
way,
with hot
money.
fudge. You have to add hot fudge.
It's a money choice.
What kind of
It's-
McFlurry?
An
Just a
Oreo.
regular.
An
oh,
Oreo
an Oreo
McFlurry.
Okay, got it.
You're not
Are you
right.
listening over there?
I'm not.
listening at all.
I
I wasn't
wasn't.
actually.
So
No.
I then my dad always ordered it. Then I would start ordering it, and then I showed it to John. So now
she
John
passed
also
it on
orders
to her
it.
son.
Okay. So
My
far,
son,
so far
Sean.
confirmed 3 people
Three
ordering
people order
McFlurries
it.
with hot fudge.
Hot fudge.
Oreo McFlurries.
And Jordan
Oreo
doesn't like it, but
McFlurry.
she's lying. But we're
She's
gonna
like,
let it slide.
but she orders hot fudge on her McFlurry.
Yeah,
she gets the
yeah.
M&M.
It's a trend, it's a trend.
Anyway,
Okay, got it.
I go with Jordan to go get a sweet treat.
Okay.
We roll up to the new McDonald's.
New?
Yeah, well, they move, so it's new to us.
us.
Oh, okay.
It's not new. It's to us.
Okay. A lot of new things happening
We
in the
just
neighborhood.
discovered it, kind of like Columbus. We've discovered
Okay.
this.
Yes.
Pass.
This McDonald's.
Pass.
This already existing
You are,
McDonald's.
John, you are kind of like Columbus, aren't you?
Pass. I'm not Columbus. Don't start that.
Okay. No, it's
Okay,
Andy in
Columbus,
this situation.
chill
Go
out.
ahead. Go ahead.
And then, so when this one's all high tech and it has these big tablets that you order from. So we hit sweet treats
And
it
Annie's
pops up.
anti-tech, so she hated
Right.
that.
So already a
hated it. I
non-starter.
said, "Where's the gasoline?" And
You
so
had to
anyway,
start up the menu like.
Go
That's
ahead.
a nice
sorry.
callback to a previous
and
episode.
I look and I'm gonna go order the Oreo McFlurry, and then Jordan goes, "Oh my gosh, look at this." An Oreo fudge McFlurry, and it says new item. They added it to the
Fantastic.
menu. No, don't be excited.
Only so far, only Annie would be upset about this, but let's find out why. Let's find out
Added it
why.
to the menu, and they said new. I was like, "You sit your ass down, McDonald's. This is
That's
not
not
new.
new. That's not new. That's not new."
We've been ordering this. We have been ordering in it, and you're gonna try to rebrand it like it's not a Skovmand tradition.
I'm confused. It sounds like all of your ordering it over the years has caught traction, and now they put it on the menu.
I don't want it to be mainstream. I want it to be underground.
And I also think she wants it to be called the Skov.
and I want it to be the
all.
Skov McFlurry.
If they called it the Skov Flurry, you'd be happy.
Oh, I'd be
I'd be-
ecstatic.
I'd be stoked. And my name's not even Skov. But
Okay.
I'd be stoked for you guys.
You're out of your damn mind.
even if they just like branded it to like California.
Do you really think-
Hell, San Diego?
You really think you're the only person? You 3 are the only jokers in the world that was always an option. Hot fudge.
Oh, have you ever ordered it?
Yeah, when I was with you.
Exactly. With us.
And it
Common
was me.
denominator? Me.
Okay. Oh, really? Really? So that's it. Nobody
Annie's-
else. You don't think
Annie's
in
got
the
some-
world.
If you're going to try to convince me
And
that
he's
my
got
father
some real
didn't.
pick-me energy going on this week.
We got camera issues a little bit.
If you're trying to convince
Guys,
me,
John, cut to my camera.
that we aren't.
All right.
My camera. Folks, if you're watching this episode and you've had a McFlurry with hot fudge on it, go ahead and leave a comment below. It can't possibly just be Annie. It just can't.
It's just
it can't.
Annie.
It can't. Oh.
Oh, okay. All right.
Annie.
All right.
Annie.
It's just me.
That was chaotic, Annie.
Shut up, Kara. Shut
Kara's
Kara,
gonna ruin this whole
Hey, Kara,
man's
between the
career.
two of us. Hey, Kara, just between us.
Shut up.
This
you
says
found
that it
evidence
came
against me,
out.
can you
No.
shut
Well, no. This came out.
Take her out.
It said that they
Destroy her.
introduced it November 19th.
Ooh, look at that.
Our wedding anniversary.
November 19th. Oh, this year or last year? On our wedding. That would have been
No, last year.
That would have been something.
Still, then, bitches, it ain't new.
No,
Chill out with that.
It's not new. It also doesn't look very good. The way that they're,
Got her.
I feel like in real life it looks so
Destroyed
much
from
better.
the mouth of Kara's.
Okay, they're McFlurries.
I don't trust Cara
What is this
for any food
what
recommendations.
Is this
No, certainly
McFlurry
not.
picture on there? Is this?
Let me
in,
see.
like,
Let me see.
A little glass
Yeah,
jar?
it's in a glass jar.
So cute.
Yeah, it's not how it
Yeah,
comes.
that's not how it comes.
Yeah,
Why would
so
they
the
take a
fudge
picture
Not to
of
mention they
that?
mix it with your, with your own
I know.
spoon.
That's
Why
how
would
I
they
know
take
the
a picture
picture
of
of
that?
the
Yeah,
fudge
it doesn't
one.
even look
Not to mention
like,
they literally mix it with the spoon you eat it out of. They like hook it up to the
So
machine.
funny.
And it's like,
it doesn't
So.
even look like
The fudge one they mix by hand.
that. Doesn't even look like there's fudge in there.
Okay, it sounds like your
like
measly little
caramel.
order is getting some notoriety, and it made it to the big menu. I don't see how that could be a loss.
It's a loss.
This is a completely you thing. Your Skov ego.
I
your
felt
Eve Sko.
betrayed. Isco.
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 Yeah,
I felt betrayed by McDonald's.
that's really confusing.
You know when I
If you're gonna try to rebrand something that
I
someone
love
else
how often you
owns,
stare right into the lens. That's just
it's
that's
crazy. It is
It's the
crazy.
you know
craziest
when I
stuff
feel
I've ever seen.
betrayed by McDonald's
when
whenever I have a McFlurry.
oh yeah, your stomach that
yeah,
sucks.
the
for
stuff
you.
they do be
That's
putting
true.
in those. Okay,
Yeah.
we are standing by.
Rough.
Listen, I just saying, if you're gonna take something and market it, you might as well give cred to who invented
Where
it,
credit's
which would
due.
be
It's
Jimbo
Jimbo.
Jim.
Scovo.
And I will always give credit to Jim,
The-
and you should know that.
So, are we getting
Rest in
McFlurries
peace.
tonight, or?
Oh, we are.
Rest-
No, we're not. No, we're
Your
not. We're
dad's
getting
not
Shamrock
dead.
Shakes.
No, but he's probably sleeping.
Oh,
Wait, rest in peace is not something you can casually use
for a
and just slip
person
it
that's
in there.
alive. It's
He
just
could be
so.
sleeping. He likes to nap. He's probably
Okay.
resting. He's
in peace.
retired.
I'd
He's
like-
resting constantly.
Okay.
All right, Annie,
In peace.
you're on thin ice.
I
on this
saw
show.
this. I saw this TikTok. We're moving on. We're moving on. I saw this TikTok that was like, the day that you added something to your McDonald's order, you never went back.
It's true.
The day that you got, your McDouble and your fries, and you added that little 6-piece of nuggets, you never didn't order it again.
I do that with Taco Bell.
You do it with Taco Bell.
I do that with In-N-Out.
Yeah.
Because
I've been doing
then
the
you've
same
built
order since
out.
I was 13.
You've built out your order,
Yeah.
and now
It's
if you don't
perfect.
get the full order, it doesn't feel complete. You're like, oh, maybe I'm still hungry.
That's
I
my
just-
Taco Bell.
What's the Taco Bell order that you always go back to? And I'll tell you.
Crunchwrap
my In-N-Out.
Supreme, 2 crunchy tacos.
What's the newest addition? Is it because you've been eating crunchy tacos your whole life, I imagine.
Crunchy
I was-
tacos? That's
Oh,
interesting.
I grew up.
Kind of
We
controversial.
grew up going through the drive-through and getting a crunchy taco and a bean burrito, or a crunchy taco and a soft taco. Tina gave us our choice.
That's it.
So I'd get
That's
a
all you
crunchy
get.
taco and a bean and cheese burrito without onions, of course.
I mean,
course.
of course.
So then-
If you got onions,
That goes
I'd be
without
concerned.
saying. That
So
goes
then
without saying.
in
of
high
course.
school, I found out what a Crunchwrap Supreme was.
Yep.
So I would only get a Crunchwrap Supreme. But now it's not the same without a taco.
The onions.
No. Screw the onions.
Okay, never
Screw
mind.
the onions.
Screw the onions.
Screw the
Who
onions.
needs them? What did you add to your order?
My I have
She's got a lot.
I
What sure
know.
she has a few. I know she has a few. What am I saying? Every
be
time we
like
go
this.
somewhere, can I get it with chicken instead of beef or something else?
What?
Oh,
The
I
secret
did it
menu?
Taco Bell.
The Annie way.
It is the grilled chicken burrito,
Okay.
and I add nacho cheese.
Oh, that's actually a money move.
Wow. Okay.
I've actually got a lot of weird
Okay.
food things.
Did you
from
guys see that they have what is it called? I don't know if it's called like the
nice.
it's called like the cheesy taco, whatever. It's a regular crunchy taco,
With
but
cheese?
they squirt nacho cheese in first.
Oh,
Yeah.
like on the bottom
That's
layer?
a game
The
changer.
Cheesy
cheesy
taco?
gordita crunch is pretty
Those are
money, too.
so
Those are
I've
freaking
never had one.
bomb. Hard shell
It's
taco.
with the soft shell around it.
No.
Oh.
With the yeah, it's bomb.
You got to have one. Maybe. wait, hold on.
I
we
feel
don't
like-
do Taco Bell tonight. That'd
Taco
be
Bell.
crazy.
And we haven't been to TRH in a long time.
Annie, don't betray me.
Are you
Texas
TRH?
Roadhouse.
Oh, I thought you were saying DHC.
RH.
Days
I'm
off.
just saying, I've been thinking about Shirley Temples for like 3 days now.
Oh,
You can get a
really?
Shirley Temple anywhere.
So can I tell you my order?
Yeah, let's hear your order.
My order
At the
when I
Taco
was-
Bell or at the McDonald's?
McDonald's.
What are we talking about here?
Whatever your
Or Chick-fil-A.
orders are.
So my order is through In-N-Out.
Okay.
Oh.
So when I was
Okay.
a kid, we used to go to In-N-Out after every like little junior crew event.
Yeah.
Stomp event. I'll say stomp for the general public.
Junior crew.
And we always go to In-N-Out. It was just me and 2 other buddies that grew up doing it together. And I figured out that like I used to get the normal double cheeseburger or whatever, and I was
Sure.
like, yeah, it's whatever, you know. And what my friend one day was like, do you like all that stuff on there? And I was like, no, but you know, it's just like how the burger comes. And he was like, you know, you can do however you want.
Customize.
And it like unlocked my brain, which is so stupid, but it so did.
No, that is so true. Like when you found autonomy in your life, you're
Right.
like, I can have it my way.
I can have extra
You're
cheese.
like, this is the Burger King.
Yeah, so
Have it
I
your
used to
way.
do, it's kind of lame, but I used to do a double with ketchup and spread only. So we just like nix all the lettuce
A classic-
and the
A
tomato.
Classic
double
burger.
with ketchup and spread, no cheese.
No, that's always the question they
double.
ask.
Right.
But, and I say, of course, cheese, but
Yes.
just not all, I just
Meat,
got rid of
cheese,
all the
ketchup,
frills,
and
you know what I'm
spread.
saying?
No lettuce and tomato.
That-
Yeah, that's what they used to say. Some people would be like, so you want meat, cheese, ketchup, and spread. And I'm like, you make me sound dumb, but yeah, that's what I want.
There was, at one point in my life, there
No
was...
veggies. Just say no veggies.
Probably
Wow.
13, 14, and I was growing like, 6 inches a day. I was just like... And I would put away a 4x4 at
Yep.
In-N-Out with a side of fries.
The legend was
Now I
always a
can't
10
even
by 10.
imagine. Oh, yeah, the 10 by 10
Like
burger.
that was always the unattainable legend.
Yes.
You'd go like when we were in high school.
Legend has it.
We'd always be like, "Oh, we should go try and get a 10 by 10," and they would never make it
No.
for you. I always thought though
Do they make
that
it?
Yes.
no, well they do.
You
You
can't-
have to go at the end of the day.
They'd be
'cause
pissed, honestly. They'd probably be like, yeah, we'll make it,
Well,
but
because
whatever.
they said like in the early on they only have a certain amount of. Well, this could be a lie too, but they said they used to say that they only have a certain amount of patties per day,
Which they
and
probably do.
No way.
So like
They probably
said
do.
that
They get
you
their
have
You
to
couldn't
order probably
order
every
like
morning.
10 10 by 10s.
You have to
They'd be like,
come-
that's all our patties.
You have to come at the end of the day, and that's when you can most like get it. But I always
That makes
assumed
sense.
it was like 10 buns, like out in like a circle to make it look like a giant cheeseburger. But it's just 10 patties stacked on top of each other.
patty, cheese, 10. And then
Oh,
bun,
it's not
bun.
like bun patty,
Yeah.
bottom of the bun patty, bottom of the
Yeah.
bun patty.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Because that would be a pain in the ass because then they would waste so many
The
buns.
McDonald's way.
It actually, when you say like a double or a 3x3, you're saying like meat and
Meat.
cheese. So it's like you could
Yeah.
theoretically get a double single
Yeah.
with like 2 meats and 1
I
cheese.
can't even eat a double. It's too much meat for me.
Oh man.
Well, that's where we disagree, I guess.
Little side note, I met a fellow crew guy of yours this week.
Oh,
He's,
really?
He's playing in the Michael Penning show.
Oh,
Gabe.
Wow, and
Gabe,
Gabe.
Good old pal of mine. I don't know if he remembers me,
Gabe,
but I remember
classic
him.
Gabe.
Typical.
Wow.
My
Great drummer. But-
Do you tell me if you relate to this? Is
I
when
don't.
you go to certain restaurants or fast food places, I should say, you have certain moods, like what kind of mood you're in at the Chick-fil-A, what kind of mood you're in at the Taco
Totally.
Bell.
Yep.
I feel like I at Taco Bell will go like one of 2 different ways.
Super
where
ratchet and then super clean.
yes, absolutely.
Okay,
where
thank
I'm
you.
like, okay, I'll just go for Crunchwrap Supreme and maybe a little potato taco. And then sometimes I'm like,
I'm gonna go hard.
I'm pulling out all the stops. I'm getting a steak quesadilla. I'm getting a cheesy gordita crunch.
about-
I'm getting a Baja Blast
That's
every
literally
time.
you every time we go to Texas Roadhouse.
Yes.
Whenever you order
I
the
can't
ribs.
decide. Okay.
Texas Roadhouse, you got to come with a different energy. Is all.
Texas Roadhouse, guys, here's the life hack. Is
ahead.
just go to Texas Roadhouse, get a bunch of apps,
Yeah.
and then shove them down your meat hole.
And
Okay,
then
just take the
It's like
onions.
50
Do
bucks.
they
It's
have
so
ribs?
good.
Do they have ribs? We'll never know.
We'll never
No,
know.
the ribs never come.
But
when
the
they
answer they always give us is they're cooked in a different part of the kitchen, and I'm like, what does that even
the
mean?
back part. No,
They're like,
because
that's cooked in
probably
the
because
back.
all
All the
of the
meat.
crap we get is deep fried, and they're like, yeah, we could throw it all in at once. Onion, freaking
Okay,
fried pickles.
I retract my offer. Thinking of how
Thank
much
you.
No,
It's
we're
all in the
going.
basket.
We're going.
Thank you.
I will say it's the cheapest meal for like the amount of food you get.
when we all
Yeah.
eat
It's
together.
crazy.
Yeah.
Let's go. We should go tonight.
Not if
That
we go to
sounds good.
McDonald's. You're just making a
I don't know,
McDonald's
TRA.
trip.
We did gloss over that. Kara said it is Shamrock Shake season.
No,
at the
they have a
McDonald's.
Shamrock Shake Oreo McFlurry. And I'm about to
What?
add hot fudge to that.
Oh,
Stop.
okay.
I'm about to add hot
All right, maybe
So
it's
all,
Annie's way.
but all it's changing in the meal is
Shut
adding
up.
green food coloring. That's an Annie's
No,
way.
it's not. It's
plus
adding
a little,
No,
mint.
it adds
a little
mint.
toothpaste. A little toothpaste in there.
Oh,
and a touch of toothpaste.
And just a dollop.
are you guys?
It feels like
are
a
you guys
toothpaste tube back there.
toothpaste?
They go just a little.
Can you guys eat mint things all the time, or do you get the toothpaste taste at all?
I
Oh,
would say-
I love toothpaste.
I could only
Oh.
not do it in coffee. Coffee, it tastes like toothpaste to me. But
Okay.
Mint coffee, you're saying? Like a
Love it.
peppermint mocha you don't like?
no, I mean my
I love a good peppermint mocha.
my wife would get mint infused drinks because she
Oh,
was
sure.
kind of a coffee connoisseur, and so she'll get these she makes them at home too. She
Oh,
like
like a
muddles the
mint drink.
mint and then makes the
Oh.
shot, the whole thing. And it's not that I don't
Like a
hate it.
mojito coffee.
I could drink it, but it's just not my favorite.
hate
Anything
it.
else, mint rocks in. I'm in.
I don't know if I could do that, like a muddled fresh mint coffee.
I love mint.
Apparently,
It
like
needs to be sweet.
I'm
citrus
like a-
coffee does really well. Like
Yeah.
there's a
The
lot
numbers
of like
are up on citrus
orange.
coffee,
People
huh?
are
It's
hot
lemonade.
about citrus and coffee.
With lemonade with 2 shots of espresso. People will order it.
That's
Are you
crazy.
kidding me?
What's
That sounds
What's
disgusting.
that called?
Oh, I don't know.
A lemon
called death.
cello?
I don't. Yeah, it's
A
called
lemon
death.
head? No, like when I come into
It's
the
called
moniker.
acid reflux.
Yeah, how do I order
Yeah.
that? I'll take a
You
lemon
just say
blast.
No,
A
you just
lemon
say, can I get
blast.
lemonade with shots in it?
A lemon.
People were
I'll
getting
take
that
a
for a
lemon
while.
blast.
I think
Yeah.
it was on TikTok, and people were like, "Yeah, I'll try it."
Yeah, so how many times do you get like a
God.
TikTok order, or do you not get those at Moniker?
But you work
No,
in like
not
a
mine.
specialty
General
coffee
coffee
shop.
place.
Yeah.
Oh, at
Right.
Starbucks?
Do you make a lot
Every
of
day.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's or not so much?
No, it's always the same person who works for the company who gets them.
This is a shot of a double shot with
Sparkling
Topo
water.
Chico.
Ugh.
It's like a iced Americano, but bubbling.
Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm medium about it.
You've
It
tried
makes
it?
me feel. I've made it in my home, like with LaCroix.
Oh, sure. But LaCroix's kind of different, right?
No,
And
not if it's
just
pure.
the flavoring. No, I think I did it with a grapefruit one,
Oh,
like a
that's
pamplemousse.
weird.
Disgusting.
I can't
Weird.
say, but I'm a menace. I'll just shoot straight espresso.
You
too.
pretty-
Oh,
So,
you are a menace.
whatever.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
A little bit
Loaded
like
there.
put a rock in that
Attack.
snowball there.
Dang, that was a dead
There's a
dog.
pebble in there. You could have killed me.
Yes, wow. Well, do you guys have anything hot off the presses to talk about?
Anything coming off the
Anything-
grill, John?
I was telling Ryan, I'm like kind of hesitant to talk about it, but
Love it.
I think we should.
Controversy.
into it.
There's this
Let's go
revival
ahead and-
happening. Have you seen about this? Asbury University. They
Oh.
started church on Sunday last
worship?
Sunday.
Yeah, and they-
they haven't stopped for like days.
They
or
canceled
whatever.
classes.
It's still going on. And you know, I mean, I'm hesitant to talk about it because I kind of want to keep it.
After last week, you think I'm going to drag it or what?
What?
Try to drag it. I'll drag you back.
The church or what?
Oh no,
the church at large.
Not at all. I think yeah, there's always going to be critics, and I think a lot of what I've been seeing on TikTok is
Annie just for the listeners. Annie covered her finger but pointed at me like
yeah.
I don't know, like Three Stooges style, like. Doink, doink, doink.
There's a lot of critics, obviously, and there was a lot of TikTokers who are like people who are healing from church hurt, you know, like came from conservative church background and got really burnt out, and they like went and you know a lot of people were like good responses. People were like, oh, you know, I was kind of going into this thinking I was gonna like pull the thread on this sweater, but really it is kind of like this holistic like healing experience for a lot of people.
So what's going on over there?
Oh yeah,
so
I'll
it's
explain
it's a
it. So-
worship situation.
So what happened was on Sunday last week. So it's been over a week now.
Okay.
They had church service and they had a sermon, the whole thing, and they did their last song. And after their last song, a student came up, from what I understand, and like kind of confessed. I don't know what it was. It wasn't just like sins. Like I don't know what he said exactly, but he just kind of like got these things off his chest. And then the worship leader felt like, okay, we want to continue to worship a little longer. And now it's gone on. Like it has been nonstop.
Yeah, I
for
know
like
they canceled
hours and
like
hours and hours.
classes for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the staff, you know, and people are flocking to it. Apparently, it's
Yeah.
happened before in the 1970s at Asbury University, and one of the guys at Foothills, one of the lead pastors at Foothills, was there in the 1970s and actually like went back. But it's kind of this really thing, and I think there are a lot of people, which you know happens when stuff like this happens, but there are a lot of people that are. conservative outlets that are trying to manipulate the scenario to being like, this is what the country needs, and like blah blah blah. And, but
Putting an agenda behind it.
Yeah, for the most part, I think it's staying pretty true. I talked to the lead pastor at my church about it because I kind of wanted to pick his brain about it and think like, somebody who's been in ministry for 40, 50 years, like my lead pastor, I'm like, what do you think of this? You know what I'm saying? Like is this something that feels legit, or because everyone's a cynic now, and he had this really good perspective, which I thought was great. Is he's like, sometimes you don't have to choose a side, like you can just let it be what it is.
Sure.
And for the most part, if it's God honoring, I mean, I'm a Christian, so if it's God honoring and you feel like it's doing good and no harm, like let it be what it is, right? You don't need to have an opinion. You don't need to like analyze some things. And I thought that's a lot, because I feel like the church sometimes does overanalyze things. Like they look at everything that comes out in society and they're like constantly scrutinizing, like, oh, well, is this going to have effect on our kids?
We joked about it last week about the Super Bowl and how, or not the Super Bowl, the Grammys, I guess it was.
No, it was
with
Super Bowl.
The Sam Smith performance.
Oh,
and we joked about how
yeah.
people are so quick to jump to like, oh, he's the Antichrist. This is the second coming. Like it's happening.
Right. And there's all this of
society.
Like happening.
Yes.
And I thought, maybe this is a good thing. And it doesn't seem like I said, a lot of these people that have a lot of church hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They went to this and they're like, listen, I talked to faculty, I talked to kids that go to Asbury that are like LGBTQ, like in the community, and they're like,
Sure.
This is just like a healing experience. Like, I don't know how I feel about religion or big church, but like this felt like a healing experience. And I thought, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to just see
Is it
like
still
something
happening right
positive.
now?
Oh yeah, I think it is still going.
Yeah.
I haven't
it's
heard
just
anything.
every hour on the hour worship service.
No, I think
nonstop.
it's continual.
It's
Wow.
nonstop for
Wow,
hours.
it's just going.
They just
Yeah.
have volunteers probably. Like,
Yeah, they
Wow.
cycle
Hey,
in. There's a line to get in the building,
Wow.
and people are, like I said, people are flocking to it.
You think people are sleeping in there?
No. Yeah, people spend like hours.
Maybe to some extent. I mean, they do these kind of like 24-hour worship things or like weekend worship things where they, even to like they had a smaller scale one here in San Diego. It's like the something tent where like everybody gets together and there's like they schedule these worship leaders so that there's always somebody kind of leading.
There
out.
is a church I know that has been doing this for literally years. Like,
Really?
Like they have a full structure and they have a live stream tech and they live stream 24 hours a day for literally years. So there are ministries that do this, but I think the difference between what's happening in Asbury and these ministries is that it just is a very
kind of happened
organic,
organically.
like happening. And I thought it was, like I said, it's in the news. It's one of those things that everyone's talking about.
Sure.
And I thought it was kind of interesting too that, we're coming off of this Super Bowl. We talked about the Super Bowl commercial last week, and it felt.
Sure.
Everything felt kind of like that commercial felt like maybe a little put on, a little programmed, and this is just like so counter to what that is. At least it seems on the surface.
Yeah.
But kind of interesting. Do your own research. Like if you're interested, I don't know if there's much to like, and like I said, that's my perspective on it. Is I just want it to put it out there and do your research and see what you think about it. But
I mean, it's definitely fascinating as this social thing too. Anyways, like like when we talk about like churches being such a building block of communities and like social, like the social aspect of being plugged into a church.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the perfect example of that. It's like
Totally.
People getting together and literally dropping everything they're doing to just be a part of this movement that feels like it's happening. And it is just, it's fascinating seeing everything. And I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll see good, bad, and ugly come out of it as the days go on. And
sure.
Well, it's like 2020. I remember being in 2020 and, when the lockdown was really serious. And after.
Which lockdown are you talking about?
Oh, you weren't there for it.
What is that? Like is that some kind of like weird
But-
about?
White House thing?
But like
Is
kind
that
of
like a
near,
Hawaii
kind of
thing they
near
had?
the end of it, like right when churches were allowed to start meeting again and stuff like that, having this moment where I remember being like, if you didn't like, for everyone else in the world that doesn't have this idea of like, hey, every week we gather here, and like it doesn't matter, we just gather here.
Sure.
like how do you meet people? How do you go out? Like where's your community? Because like besides churches and like honestly like AA, like
Where you work.
where's the but if you're working from home, if you can't work, like
that's third place,
where do you find this like gathering place? In churches and Christianity and in religion in general, like set out to be like, okay, well, here's a group of like-minded people, we're gonna get together.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the only aspects of life that does that. And it's like, it's interesting because
Sports.
I think sports.
Well,
I'm not a sports person.
Did we talk about this?
If you're part of like a community sports, like
a sports team, like a volunteer.
Yeah, I think there's something
volunteer
to
sports.
there's a different level of
if you're like a sports guy, you're really into
sports ball.
I mean, yeah, sure, that is a form of community, but I do think like when you're talking about belief systems, like there's something that does run maybe slightly a little deeper in your psyche and your personality.
Sure.
You know, like sports are fun. I mean, that's just like getting
Well, yeah,
together
you
for
come
family,
to
getting
do
together,
sports.
right? Yeah.
Like you come together to play a game. Certainly, like a certain aspect of that. Where with like religion, you truly just come together to be together to some aspect. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, like it's a shared like interest in a thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not dissimilar to like the disc golf team that goes and meets in the park,
a
or
painting
like
club.
or like people that go to a bar
Painting
and
club.
do trivia. It's like they're all there for
Trivia.
one reason, and there's
we're doing
camaraderie, and there's. Wait,
saw-
weren't we gonna do trivia?
yeah, I sent a poster. You really got me
Thinking about trivia.
paused off of religion onto
yeah.
trivia. I
Love
saw
this.
Priorities.
Trivia.
Pause on religion. We're gonna go to trivia for a
Andy
sec.
did screenshot a poster that I guess the Liberty Market is
Liberty
holding
Station.
Yes.
a Adam Sandler / Drew Barrymore trivia night,
They're hosting
which is
it?
so
It is-
oddly specific.
No, it's a 51st date trivia night.
No, it said Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore. I
Because
think
it was the poster of the movie.
yes, but it's like all
thought it was
movies
like
they've been
they-
in. I think.
Oh,
No,
thought
I
it was
think
like-
it's.
Weren't they
I
in
think it is.
Blended?
No, I think it
don't
is
know.
51st dates.
Okay, I'm
Trivia.
gonna have to
We'll let you
refer
slide
to
on
the.
that.
How would I know any answer to any trivia from
You'd have to
51st
watch
Dates?
movie. You'd have to like
You've
movies
never
to
seen
do
it?
that.
Is that the one where she gets like amnesia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you've
no,
seen
I've
it.
seen it.
So that's the first thing you gotta
Okay,
know.
so
I still don't think I'd be able to.
It's her
it says
frontal lobe.
Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore trivia.
Perfect. Could
Liberty
easily do
Public
it.
Market,
Easy.
main patio.
Could easily do it.
Prizes
I love
for
your
first, second, and
blind
third
comments.
place, and best Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore costume.
Yep.
Guys, we're going.
Guys,
we're literally going.
I will say trivia is so much harder than
The
I
Wedding
thought.
Singer. The Wedding Singer is another movie. We could do The Wedding Singer.
I haven't seen that whole movie.
Annie, can I tell you something? Mm-hmm. There's an audio on TikTok, and I'm sure you've heard it, where they're like, I was born with the I can do anything gene. And like, that means I'm incredibly dangerous because anything I set my mind to, I'm convinced I can accomplish it at like a
that's Annie.
competitive level. And I think of you every single time.
I've never heard
I'm
that.
like, this is Annie. If Annie was an audio, this is the Annie audio. Truly.
And I
That's
do have
Annie
that
audio.
gene.
You do,
And
huh?
I will do it.
And I will do it.
I've noticed that about you.
That is how I needed hip surgery.
Exactly.
Is my grandfather literally was like, "You think you can drive anything, huh?" And I was like, I can." He was like, "Yeah, drive that." And then I drove it,
And-
then I kept myself from falling, and then popped my hip out of the socket.
Nice.
It being a bull, she was actually running with the
bull.
bulls,
Oh, wow.
and he's like, "I don't think you can ride
can
that."
drive it.
And she
Yep.
jumped up on this fully grown bull,
was
grabbed
a
him by the
motorcycle.
I was
horns.
gonna say I did also see an electronic bowl like blow up thing on Facebook, and it was like 40 or like less than
$40
to rent it, and I thought,
At least once.
This is-
yeah, we need it.
come on,
We need
right?
it.
I think I could stay on a
How long do you
electric
think you can
bowl.
stay on an electric bowl?
I think a while.
No,
Okay,
tell
we're
me a
going
number.
down. We're going to Double Deuce tonight. We're getting on the electric bowl.
We should. Oh my gosh.
I
Tell
will
me a
need some
number,
liquid
Cara.
courage.
I think I could stay. The videos that I've seen, it
It
starts
starts
off
slow. Yep.
I think I could stay for like a minute 15.
Whoa.
You can
No.
stay
Dang.
for what?
It
It's
starts
75
slow.
seconds.
Kara,
Yeah.
it literally goes.
Okay.
Me.
Okay, Annie, how long? do
I
you
have
think you
strong
can stay? How-
thighs.
Annie, how long do you think you can stay? Okay.
Ryan's
wrong.
like, yeah, damn right.
No, minute 15 sounds about right.
Okay.
That's
What?
that's how long
What?
you last.
What do you mean?
Oh, yikes.
35 seconds. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
What do you mean?
What? Wait, what? Jeez.
I don't get it.
Dirty.
Burn.
Really? Come on.
burn.
She's got that gene.
Burn.
She got that dog in her.
I could probably do 30 seconds.
Okay.
My thing is I start to overthink of like,
This podcast is awesome. How long do you think you could stay on a mechanical bull?
No, because we're going to
30
test it.
seconds. Yeah.
oh, okay.
We're gonna test it, that's
then
why.
I'm gonna go with the high end of my guess, like 55 seconds.
Ryan.
That's pretty good.
Almost a minute.
I'm fairly uncoordinated when it comes to this stuff, so I'm going to
20.
say 27 seconds.
27.
Okay.
Nice.
John.
Feels good.
I think I got 20 in me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I have no frame of
I don't
reference.
know that I have,
don't know.
very long.
I think it's a weird feeling.
I've got
Would
no
you ever
frame
ride a
of
real
reference.
bull?
Wait, hold on. Were you
If it
just
was
saying that
nice.
about me? Were you saying that I have no shot other than 20 seconds?
No,
Have you guys ever done
no,
one of these?
anyone. No, I've like been in line for them, and then
Sure.
I've had it like it malfunctioned or whatever, and then be like,
How many times have that happened? That's
twice.
concerning.
It's kind of a weird. Like I kind of feel like maybe
Look.
I have like a little Matilda power thing.
The
Like,
number of times Annie's been down to double deuce on a weekend.
And
You
she
know,
gets
only
up
once.
and goes.
It
Come
is
on.
once.
Every time it's twice.
The only
Twice,
place I've
maybe
ever
twice.
seen a mechanical bull is the restaurant outside of Universal Studios. When you're leaving
talking
to go
about
to
Saddle
that
Ranch?
Uber area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saddle Ranch.
Yeah.
Right?
dang, I don't know.
I don't know. I've
Something
never
like
been.
that.
I'm
The
not.
place
I was
that
never rich enough to go.
he must not be named former YouTube star used to go to, right?
What?
What's that restaurant called?
What?
Right?
Bryce Hall.
Bryce Hall? David
Oh.
Dobrik.
They all used to go hang out at that.
Really?
It was like part of the vlogs, wasn't
Oh, I
it's
don't know.
That's like a brunch place.
it? Cool.
Who knows?
Saddle
Okay.
Ranch? Oh yeah, maybe it is Saddle Ranch.
I don't know.
I don't know. Go ahead, Annie. Let it rip.
No, but I think we shall go on a mechanical bull.
Okay.
No, we are.
Done.
We are.
Done.
We are.
Yeah, okay.
I think
Right after trivia? You think?
25
even if I have
hour
to
live
rent it.
stream
Oh.
circa 2023.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool actually. Hold on.
We rent one.
Wow.
We rent one?
We
Yeah.
rent
Oh,
one.
for here?
Yeah.
So every hour on the hour we have to do our times?
For funds for Alzheimer's.
For science,
For
you guys.
science.
We spend all the money we make for Alzheimer's
and
on
we
this
buy
mechanical
one.
bull.
And we buy a mechanical bull.
Guys,
we go.
we didn't make any money.
We go. Thank
spent it
you
all.
so much for your donations. It went to the mechanical bull.
That's right.
Come on,
Man.
I think
Did you ever?
I think I maybe could last longer than I think.
Were
I
you
could.
were you rodeo kids? Like, did you ever go to the rodeo when you were a kid?
No.
Annie? I hate to break it to you, Alpine Sean.
I had the chance.
What are you talking about?
I
Like
had the
Lakeside Rodeo?
chance to go in Texas.
Y'all ever been to the
real-
rodeo?
To a-
To
Hey,
a
y'all
real
ever been to the
rodeo.
rodeo? Go to the rodeo?
There's real rodeos
But
here,
Mike-
Cara.
Texas.
No,
Texas.
there's real rodeos here though.
There's
in an
real-
arena.
Well,
Not
okay, there
Lakeside
is a-
Rodeo.
There is Lakeside is an
Del
arena.
Mar has a rodeo.
No, like an
Thank
indoor
gosh.
like stadium. Like think Petco Park
Guys know,
style.
This is the most East
like
County
big.
conversation I've ever been a part of. Like, really, people?
So,
You know
okay,
what we do at the
I've
beach?
always wanted to go.
So
but,
there's a thing that they do
you know.
in hardcore rodeos, and it's called like a mutton race, where basically they put little kids on
yes.
sheep.
Yes.
Okay.
And you hold the sheep and they like just let them go, and the sheep run. And it's kind of like a mechanical or like a bull ride in a way that
For
these
kids.
kids are just trying to hold on as long as they can,
Mutton
and then
race.
get
It's
like
pretty
thrown
funny.
off of the sheep.
I've
I'd
seen
love to go to a
videos.
rodeo. Maybe we all go to the Lakeside Rodeo.
Oh my god!
I'm in.
This is
When
kind
does
of,
that even go?
kind of a fun episode, guys. Wow.
We're making a lot of
planning.
promises.
the
that
summer
we'll-
plans.
We'll never.
Let's see when-
we'll never
when it
follow
is.
up on.
Guys,
We'll
We
have a lot
will
of
never
plans.
go to the
We
rodeo.
do. We do. No, we're never going.
Of
course not.
No, the rodeo. Do we all get matching belt buckles?
Okay.
Oh.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Stars.
It's gonna be in the merch store. It's
just
gonna
You
be in
guys,
the merch
it's
store.
April 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th.
Perfect. Okay, what day works well for you?
Thursday,
The
Friday,
30th?
Saturday, Sunday. I'm
Okay,
good on
cool.
Sunday.
Buy the
Sunday,
tickets.
30th.
Buy
Let's
the
get 'em.
tickets.
Buy the tickets.
Take the money out of the What the Podcast
Buy
Alzheimer's
the
Fund.
tickets.
They're expensive,
How
yeah.
much?
Holy shite.
Oh, come on, tell us.
Oh.
$134 for not good seats.
Oh, for the whole
Oh.
weekend or just one day?
Is this
day.
Lakeside Rodeo?
Yeah.
No, you got that's no
not the
way.
Lakeside. Lakeside
That's not-
Rodeo is
yeah.
like $35 max.
They're like asking you
That's
to come
probably
in.
the box seats.
Sounds like 135.
You sure it's the California Lakeside Radio?
Yep. Lakeside, California.
No,
we'll get back to
Lakeside,
that.
Texas.
Let's go to
You gotta
there.
know somebody,
You go-
right?
Oh, stop. Guess who the sponsor is?
Ooh.
The
Corona.
Republican
Chick-fil-A,
National
Chick-fil-A.
Convention.
No, just guess.
Chick-fil-A.
The GDP or the
VA Haas.
what's that
We've
called?
already talked about it.
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
No.
God damn it, Cara.
Burger
That would have
King.
been cool.
No, we talked about it.
Texas Roadhouse.
Cara.
Yes.
We
Oh,
meet every
we're
week.
going-
We talk about stuff.
I'm sorry.
every
We're
week.
going to the Texas Roadhouse Rodeo.
Yeah, definitely. We're there.
Like
we are literally there.
are there.
I love Texas
What are you
Roadhouse.
Proud
talking about?
sponsor of the 2023
I'm gonna tell you right
Lakeside
now.
Rodeo.
I love Texas Roadhouse. I don't even. I used to
Unironically.
pretend like, Texas Roadhouse is meh. It's bomb, guys.
How many times do you think you pretended that we went?
Once.
Like,
No,
give me a
with you
number.
guys, I'm fully honest. I loved
Oh,
it,
to
loved it.
other people you
But I'm
pretended.
saying, like,
How
publicly, I'm always
often
like,
do you?
Texas Roadhouse is meh. But
We are lucky that we're living in a world where John doesn't have to pretend.
Thank you.
That he likes Texas
Really?
Roadhouse.
I love
I
Texas
feel like he
Roadhouse.
Doesn't
should
have
keep
to.
pretending like he tips.
Oh, that would be good. That would
That'd
probably
be
be
good.
good.
That
For the
might
working
that might
class.
help your image, your
Really?
public image.
Wow.
Yeah.
My public image, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go
We
ahead
gotta
and
work on
comment
that
below
public-
if you think that would help John's public image. Thanks.
I don't think so.
There's a
Good
countdown
call.
on their
Good call.
website. 66 days.
66 days, guys, until the rodeo. The Texas Roadhouse Rodeo. Guys,
Guys, we didn't talk about it last week. I'm fully shifting gears.
Oh,
This
Go
is
ahead.
this
Shift gears.
conversation completely done. right?
Shift it.
Have you guys seen this ad? The Joe Rogan auto-generated ad?
no.
Yep.
Okay. It is a AI generated deep fake of the Joe Rogan show, and he's doing this commercial for this protein powder. It's like libido boosting testosterone or something, and it's going around TikTok. It's got like millions of views. Not real.
Nope.
Completely
Ooh.
fake.
Sure.
AI.
Freaking
listen,
AI
we
generated.
learned about AI podcast producing, and that was shocking.
Apparently, Chat GBT is getting like better and better every day.
So my brother, most of my family are teachers.
Yeah. Okay.
And my brother brought up this topic to the family chat this last week about he just like, I had a kid who turned in an AI generated essay. And
How do you tell?
You can.
that's right, right? So that's what I said. I was
If
like,
you
how
know
can
the
you tell?
kid's writing.
And that's what
only
my brother said that. He's like, I can tell because he didn't write
The
like this beforehand. And I said, you know
vocabulary.
what? This guy isn't committed. You know what I'm
now
saying?
we're talking about Bobby, right?
Yeah, Bob. Yeah. But
Now that's one attentive teacher,
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
say you
should have done it to a different teacher, dude. That was on you.
dude. I
Yeah.
mean,
Sub.
I'm sure
Yeah,
like
totally.
half of the teachers that subs and different teachers that I had through middle school, high school, you probably could easily swindled half.
Well,
those
and what
people.
I was telling Bobby is if you commit hard enough to this is my writing, there's no way that they can prove it wasn't you. I'm sorry. I mean,
There's
like
no
I said,
way. There's no
because
possible way, 'cause-
If you commit to the bit, is what I'm saying. Because if you just say like, I told Bobby, I was like, what if I'm like, yeah, I really tried this essay. I
Yeah.
really want to turn
Yeah.
my
Or
school
even
career
say,
around.
I had a friend proofread it, and,
Well, the big
Totally,
argument
absolutely.
was, Bobby said, he's like, well, I just take his essay and I say, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Well, I could
you
tell you
could
about
generate
You know what I'm
it
saying?
and make the words and then learn all about it just by reading
Yes.
it like over
Right.
and over again. Like let's say you did it the night before and then just read it a bunch of times. You're like, oh great, this is my
I
essay.
freaking hated writing essays.
You didn't like essays?
So I fully would have gone that. If that was a
I
thing
paid
back
for
then,
somebody to write my essay.
I would have
That's
gone that
crazy.
route since the beginning.
Yeah, if you committed all year, every essay I'm going to write is going to be
Yeah.
Chat GBT.
Yeah.
Right. And then and Bobby's like, well, I can tell. I'm like, no, if the kid really committed, like he obviously folded. Like Bobby talked to
Yeah.
him and he was like, yeah, it wasn't me. But
Why
like,
would you fold?
dude, if you had committed, there's literally no way. Like I'd take that to the district. I would ride that lie.
How about this?
So far.
Apparently, they're working out kind of all the logistics of like ownership of these things because I guess there's Chat GBT, which is the one for words. You can put in a prompt and it kind of like auto generates words, right? There's another one for images, which we kind of were messing around with.
Yeah.
Technically, according to this company, when you put it through the AI and it generates an image, you, the person that wrote the prompt, own that image. So technically speaking,
NFT.
because it's a brand new thing, right? It's like,
Sure.
yeah, I don't know how that really works, but you're technically like, it's copyrighted to you because you put in the prompt, you told
Yeah,
the
you're the
AI
first
software
person
what to
to-
do.
To have it.
Technically speaking, it's not maybe your writing, but it is your words that you've generated this new
Right,
essay.
you prompted it, so like it's your content. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because the computer isn't somebody who can own something.
Right.
It's just doing the work for
But
you.
what does that mean? And if this, if
So
this
weird.
technology exists, why would anybody write anything, right? It's kind of like a calculator.
Right.
Like, why would anybody do long division? Why? Like, there's no
listen.
reason.
I wonder if they'll get to a point where it's like you need to write your essays in class now.
The funniest thing that
in
teachers are
person.
doing now
That is, I could see that.
is I heard my sister-in-law she's a teacher, but she's a school psychologist,
Uh-huh.
and she was saying that she overheard teachers, or she just had friends with teachers that were saying they're using it to write lesson plans.
Which honestly, good for them. Like they have so little time to do anything with their students.
Totally.
It's a calculator,
do
right?
it.
But it's funny because
cares?
the posture is like, well, if the kids are going to use it, like, why don't we use it to enhance our life?
It
you know?
makes me think about those conversations which we talked about a couple weeks ago. Like, oh, you're never going to have a calculator always in your pocket, so you have to learn how to do math. And now we've got freaking calculators built into our phones. Like,
Yeah.
you can
By the
literally
way, that logic,
Yeah.
so
crazy.
weird,
You're not just going
right?
to carry a calculator everywhere you go. It's like, bitch, I literally do. I am. I'm doing it. It's right here. It's crazy. And so, like, now the same thing. Why would you never have to write a 1,000-page essay because you can literally generate one with the press of a button.
Yeah.
Why would anybody write ever
Annie,
again?
what's your take on this?
I think that it's
Go ahead.
Slippery slope?
Ooh. I haven't heard that one. You haven't whipped that one out in a while.
I stopped using it intentionally.
Oh, that's
Okay.
that's
I did.
no. It reminds me of Interstellar.
Go ahead.
Never saw
It
it,
is-
but good movie.
I
I'm
didn't
sure.
see
Also
either.
never saw it.
Gosh, are you kidding me?
Okay, this is Annie.
You're
This
the
is Annie the
anti-movie.
movie buff here
Don't
to tell
you
us about
dare do
Interstellar.
Annie the full time's like, well, I don't really get movies. I don't really understand how.
haven't seen that movie?
It's like
Do that again, I'll do that
it's
again.
What?
Ryan, you would love it.
haven't
It's
seen
like in the
Interstellar?
future.
I'm so glad we got
That was Annie the movie buff there.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead. It's got a great and powerful ending. The plot is really immersive. That was Annie.
It's Matthew McConaughey. It's in the future. It's machines have evolved where they're now basically like part of the government, part of the world. Like they're just like these robots.
Okay.
And
Yeah, but Marvel
they have
movies
they
are just
have
too much.
Yeah, yeah.
they have.
Okay, cool.
We're running out of the world is running out of food.
Right.
And it's like far in the future. And one aspect is they have changed the curriculum just like to be like, yeah, the moon landing was fake. It was all propaganda to make the Soviets go bankrupt and like all these things, like basically
Which
like
worked.
the government is, like the government has kind of like outed itself, all this stuff. And like, it's kind of like every man for himself. They need more farmers. Like,
Of course.
they're kind of like just scrambling.
Okay.
Like in the whole plot is Matthew McConaughey used to was a pilot for NASA. NASA's been defunded
Okay.
because they didn't want to, like, the planet is dying. They didn't want to, the government, like
resources
the
towards NASA.
taxpayers were like, we're not going to put money into discovering new planets when this one's like, we can't even keep this one. Like, what's the point of that? And
Right.
it was all fake and all whatever.
Okay.
And then spoilers.
Some other things happen.
Turns out
Yeah,
that
it's fine. Wait,
turns
pause.
out that
Spoilers.
NASA still is like underground, still working because there's aliens.
Cool. Yeah,
and
I didn't want to
a
see the movie.
wormhole.
I didn't actually want to see it.
Is that
Neither.
the
I didn't tell you the
Right.
ending.
Is that the one with what's her face?
Anne Hathaway.
No, that's Les Mis.
Anne Hathaway? No.
It's Anne Hathaway, Matthew
Oh,
McConaughey,
what's the
Princess
space
Diaries.
one?
and the guy from
Princess Diaries
Miss
2.
Congeniality,
Chris Pine.
where
Yeah,
he's
that's
like,
not Anne Hathaway,
yes,
right?
not- it's
Isn't
yes,
nothing?
not yeah.
I'm sorry, nothing will beat
Congeniality?
the Annie the movie buff. Ryan's
Wait,
key
who's
character.
the
I don't know
other-
why she has donkey teeth when she has that
What's her
voice.
face? Who's in Miss
What?
Congeniality?
They don't watch movies.
Sandra Bullock.
Isn't she in Interstellar?
No,
such a-
that's
It's
Gravity.
such an alter
Bullock.
ego. It's
Sandra
That is a movie,
Bullock.
Gravity,
It's such an
which I
alter
cried
ego
in that
for her,
movie.
which I love.
I
think
love
I got
I
sick
love
watching
how we just
Gravity.
went completely full circle. We got to know what did that have to do with?
The point is AI
Chat
reminds me a
GPT.
lot of Interstellar. And
Oh
it
yeah,
kinda
that's actually funny. There's nothing to do with AI.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
got it.
it reminds me a lot of Interstellar of like we're kind of like giving
Dazed
them
and
these
Confused.
human
Dazed and
human
Confused.
capacities, and I'm like, At what point do we just
I'm
say?
concerned about Eddie. I'm not gonna lie to you.
At what point do we just say like, hey, like,
I want to see where this goes.
let's abandon this because it's gonna get beyond what we can do.
I think humans are physically incapable. Like the box is open, and we will just keep
Scratching that itch.
getting
But here's
bigger
my-
and bigger. Like our egos will grow, and our
God,
money,
if-
and will keep inflating, and the world will
Jesus.
just blow up.
If you have money to freaking spare, how about you research ways to like
here we
safely deactivate
Here we
nuclear
go.
sites?
No, I have something
and how
better.
to like
I
I
have
don't know,
something
give
better.
Flint, Michigan freaking water. Like
Okay,
figure it out.
You know right now. Okay, so you know how like they declassified like the radio, and then suddenly we had radios, right? Like civilian tech, and then they declassified like
they've had this
the
forever.
tech behind TVs, right? They've had this forever, and I guarantee right now there's a supercomputer in the Pentagon that's running like possibilities, and it's asking it like, if you were Russia, where would you hide your nukes? If you were in Iraq, where would you hide your nukes? And it's running all possibilities, because it's not just like our measly little, it's like a military supercomputer, and it's going, if I was a terrorist in Syria right
Oh
now, I would hide my nukes
gosh.
here.
Speaking about terrorists.
I'm just saying that's what's happening right now. Like,
Okay, we're gonna pause
No,
on
yeah,
AI.
go
We're
ahead.
gonna go to
Sure.
terrorism.
Wait, how come you get to pause?
Yeah,
going
she
to
did.
Pausing on
She
that,
did.
we're going to
You're
terrorism.
not like
no-
the remote of this
I have no
podcast.
idea.
The
ahead.
Taliban has come out and has basically like been like, yeah, we don't like running a country. Like they,
Oh, yeah,
like
the,
leaders of the
Iran-
Taliban have been like, this
Iran
is
thing,
exhausting.
or-
We really don't like working 8 to 5. Like this is, you know, like they
liked it when we
enjoyed
were
being
just
in
like,
war more,
yeah, right.
and now they like
Yeah.
have to. They're like, yeah, now you're the government, and they're like, not enjoying that. We don't really
They're
like that.
There's a lot of red tape. I don't know what's
they're
going
like,
on.
They're like,
but
this is like a lot of like just like work, and everyone's like,
that's crazy.
yeah,
That is
it's
crazy.
a government.
Good for them.
And I was like, that's what you get,
So
Taliban.
what are they doing? Are they giving it back to the people, or
No, of course
No,
not.
of
Why
course
they,
not. They're
what,
never
you, oh
releasing
yeah, the
power.
Taliban didn't give it back.
Really? So you think women are humans again? Please,
Yeah.
come on.
Down with the
That
Taliban.
and save that piece.
Yeah.
Okay, and pausing that back.
That was being the Taliban. That
Yeah.
wasn't me, of course.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
was,
okay.
yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
No, yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
of course.
no one's gonna cut that on the internet.
Nah, maybe you.
You don't watch movies? You don't watch Interstellar? It's a great movie with Matthew McConaughey. I don't know. Like, it just kind of comes out. Like, that's like when none of
wrong
us.
with you?
I will say, Annie, the most off the cup moment this whole thing was you being like, "Have you guys seen Interstellar?
You haven't?
But
you haven't
that's-
seen
I
Interstellar?
love movies. That's my
Listen,
thing. I love
no,
movies.
That wasn't my thing was how the hell have I seen this movie and you guys haven't?
Because it's
True.
a bad
No.
Because
movie.
I don't
Dumb
see
movie.
these. No,
Sounds
it is
dumb.
not.
You like
Sounds
that
dumb.
movie?
It's like known. Whatever. Forget you guys.
That's
Whatever.
fair. That's fair.
Well, that's been a great podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Annie is in the middle
I'm
of
going-
a rebrand.
I'm
If you
just
haven't
gonna say-
figured this out,
I'm just gonna say I'm
ahead.
gonna go
Go ahead.
and get my Oreo McFlurry,
Shamrock
Oreo
with
McFlurry
hot
with
fudge.
hot fudge. I am gonna go to the
Hey, it's
rodeo.
just called a
I'm gonna go to
Shamrock
do all the
fudge
things,
McFlurry
and
is
I'm
all.
gonna do them without you guys.
And you're
think
gonna
they have
tip.
a
And
mechanical.
I will tip.
Oh, wow. Full circle.
Yeah.
On the couch
There
as
you go.
always, Cara Tafolla, Annie the Skovmand. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you right here next week on What the Podcast.